Hi guys, this will be a review for Angels Horn Turntable. The exact model is H00501 and be warned, it'll be a long one. So grab something to drink, sit down in some comfortable place, and if you're interested in buying something like that, watch my review. So every now and then one of you guys asks me to test Phono stage clones, but in order to do something like that I would need to have a turntable in the first place, right? So I haven't one earlier and I got this one. I decided to get one, but without any large investment, something entry level. When I was looking for recommendations over the web for something like that, it was mostly either some Audio-Technica entry-level turntable or this one, Angels Horn turntable. Since I have a soft spot for underdogs, I got this one. Also, some factor was that this particular model of turntable has over 1,000, I think it's closer to 1,500 positive reviews on Amazon. So that has to mean something. Okay, this is, as I said, H00501. It's a kind of mini setup that can be used for something like $260, unless you'll get it second hand or during Amazon flash sales. They can be significantly cheaper. If you take a look at some of the reviews and comments on Amazon, there are some guys saying that they are able to grab one for $200. And I was looking for them locally, and you can get them second hand, even cheaper, because you can get them for something like $150 second hand. And that's a very good price. Even the starting price is very good, but we'll get to that later. So, some specifications. As I've said, it's supposed to be a mini system, but it can be used as a separate turntable only. It's using entry level but highly appreciated Audio-Technica AT3600L dual moving magnet cartridge. If you take a look over the web for the reviews for that particular Audio-Technica cartridge, you'll learn that although it's entry level, it's highly recommended for turntable users to have one of those in their cartridge collection. Why? Because it's regarded as one punching way above the weight class with very fun sound signature. So this is the part that's basically deciding about the sound quality and sound character of this turntable. The specification says, and as you can see, it supports 33 and 45 RPM speeds. It has 72 decibels signal to noise ratio, and frequency response as given by the manufacturer is between 20 Hz and 20 kHz. It has a small amplifier built in, and the amplifier specified power output is given as 18 watts per channel, so 36 watts in total. But what's interesting is this 18 watts per channel. Unfortunately, the specification doesn't say about the impedance of the speakers that this power was measured for. Although the speakers that you can find in a box with the turntable are 4 ohms, so it's quite possible that this 18 watts is for them. Especially that if you take a look at the back of the speaker, we can see it's 18 watts and 4 ohms. Okay, so, but we'll get to speakers a little bit later. Now, the build quality and the controls, the functionalities. As you can see, it's already turned on. We have usual plexiglass cover, and we have one control for volume setting here and another one for choosing the RPM between 45, 33 and Bluetooth. Yes, it does have Bluetooth receiver built in. So it's connected to my tablet or phone right now. Let's turn it off like that. Okay, I like the mat, I like the logo. As for the finish here, it's built from MDF and it's covered with I think it's vinyl. I don't think it's real wood, although it's high quality vinyl veneer, because you'll be able to see the print on it only when you'll be looking very closely. But other than that, the build is excellent. You have no places when there would be any problems with the veneer, and as you can see, it looks very good. I like the classy colors, brown and black here, with some chrome accents here. So let's take a look at the back, because that's the place where everything is happening. I'll disconnect the power now. Let's power it off. Yeah. Okay, so what do we have in the back? In the back we have power rocker, we have connectors for speakers. Here we have DC power supply input, it's 15 volts DC. We have selector for the mode of the RCA outputs, and you can choose between line output and phone output, and we have a grounding pin for the turntable. That's it. That's a very simple thing. Now let's get this out of the way, because there is a couple of other things to talk about here when we're talking about the build. So I pause the video. So the speakers. With the box along the turntable, you'll find a pair of speakers, small ones. Let's give you an idea about the size. That's my hand, so they are small. That's the specification for the speaker. Power rating 18 watts and 4 ohms impedance. They have you can remove that actually, and I'll show you how they look inside. Yeah, I don't want to go into the beast mode. Okay, so it's using regular pegs, and we can see two speakers. The treble driver is silk dome unit, and this is paper cone unit. Let's take a look inside, another part. And that's the second one. Why am I going into such a detail? It'll be a spoiler, but the speakers are really good. And I was quite honestly surprised by the quality of the sound that I was getting from them. At the beginning, I thought that these are as 99% of the speakers that are thrown with the mini setups, that I don't know, that are good for the first 10 minutes of listening to check if everything is working correctly, and then you usually will replace them with something better. But these are sounding quite good, and I was wondering what's inside, what gives them this transparency and sound quality. So we have mid and bass driver, no markings on the driver whatsoever, although we can dampen the steel pressed basket here, and we have a treble driver here, the steel dome driver. And if you're wondering about the crossover, here it is. It's just one simple 2.2 microfarads capacitor soldered to the treble driver directly, and that explains the transparency, because basically the best crossover is no crossover at all. By the way, they do sound good, and it's easy to mod them, because you can replace that 2.2 electrolytic cap with something of better quality, some kind of MKP capacitor, and you can dampen the basket for the mid-range and bass driver. Okay, so with that out of the way, you also get a set of speaker cables in the box. but they are nothing to write home about, and these would be the first things I would replace here with basically anything better. But they are good to check if everything is working correctly. They are quite short. I think it's about 1 meter for each one of them, but they should get you started. And then we have, don't do that at home, the power supply. And the power supply is very cheap. It's 15 volts DC power supply, outputting 2.4 amps. So the total power is specified as 36 watts. So this is very cheap. That's bad news. The good news is that you can use Hades, the small device, supercapacitor device that I was testing a couple of months ago with this power supply, basically getting your Hades between the power supply and the turntable power input, or you can replace that with linear power supply with 15 volts output. And all of my listening tests were done using this stock power supply, because that's the rule. I'm testing the devices first with the stock power supplies, but then I've tested this with one of my LPSs and then with Hades, and basically in both cases the results were very good. This turntable accepts very well better, more stable power supply, and it will just sound better. Okay, so let's get that back on the table. And let's take a look at the actual amplifier inside. In order to get to the PCB, you'll need to undo 6 Phillips screws like that. I've left 2 here, so I can quickly remove them. Can I? One of them and the second one. Everything is placed inside this plastic cover. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. And let's take a look. Okay. I'll have to remove my phone from the mount, and I'll have to use the flashlight to show you a couple of interesting things. Okay, let's do it like that. Let's zoom in and let's use my pointer. I've hidden all my pointers because my cat has stolen last 4 of them, and I always need to do the new one. I don't know if that actually helps. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so basically, the interesting thing here is that the board is probably supposed to be universal PCB for a model with USB input with digital to analog converter here. This cable here goes to the speaker connectors, meaning that probably speaker amplifier is somewhere around here. And the problem is that I cannot see any well-known, at least to me, integrated speaker amplifier. All the caps here are low quality caps, which is amazing given that the turntable, and that's another spoiler, that the turntable sounds really, really good. So let's try to zoom in and see if you can maybe recognize some of the ICs here. The first one is this one. It may be an amplifier, but I'm not sure about that. We have also that one. Can we see that one? Yeah. Yes, we can. And that's basically it. It's a very simple board, not much to see here, yet it sounds so good that I was very curious to see what do they have put inside. Yes, and it has an internal Bluetooth receiver, so we have Bluetooth antenna here. Not the best solution. I would prefer some kind of external antenna, because the Bluetooth range here is not very long. I mean, it was working up to something like 5 meters, but I wouldn't go with my phone around the wall. Okay, so let's close that and let's move to other parts of review. Okay, so we're back, and before I'll start talking about the sound quality, let's have something in the background. Let's power it on. Yep. And let the magic happen. Oh, actually, I should have used this like that. Okay, so we'll have some Madonna in the background. Now, we've covered the build. I would like to cover the initial setup, but I think I'll do another video on that. There is a couple of videos on setting this up for the first time on YouTube, and I've watched them all, and I'm not very happy with any of them, because they do not cover some things that I've learned in other videos that were dedicated for setting up other turntables for the first time. In the box with the turntable, you'll also get an adapter for 45 RPM smaller discs, and you'll have a hook for the belt of the turntable, and you'll also have a 2-point cartridge alignment protractor, which is basically a printed piece of cardboard, but it works perfectly. And by the way, it's a very good idea to check the alignment. It should have been set up by the factory, but I've learned that my cartridge was very slightly off, and I was able to correct that easily. You'll also find a quick start guide describing installation, etc. But the thing is that this part is not very clear, and that's something that I like to cover with another video. But let's move to the sound qualities, and let's move to the real review. Okay, first thing, the speakers. Why are we talking about the speakers? Now, this is a surprise. I was expecting nothing, and I wasn't going to review them, as I thought that they are as bad as 99% of the speakers included with mini systems. But I thought I should at least connect them to confirm that and give them a try, because these are the speakers that are delivered to you in the stock configuration. And here goes the surprise. Somebody at Angels Horn actually chose them for pairing and synergy with amplifier in this turntable. The speakers are very clean, transparent, and open. I know it sounds like it's not true, because small speakers cannot sound like that, but they sound very good. Obviously, they will lack some bass. Why? Because they are small, because the bass driver, the mid-range bass driver, is so small that in three-way speakers it would be used only for the mid-range. Yet, still, they sound very open, very transparent, and very detailed. And I would actually like to see them being sold separately, because I would buy them and use them with my computer setup. They are so good. Okay, so now let's move to the sound quality. Bass. The bass nicely fills the background. I wasn't expecting it to go as low as it went in the Man's Too Strong by Dire Straits. If you know the song, if you know the track at the beginning, around something like 20 to 30 seconds mark, there is a bass line that's swinging. It's changing timbre, it's changing tempo. It's very nice, and I wasn't expecting this turntable to be able to go as low. Actually, I wasn't able to get such a low frequency response from the turntable at all. So there is no mid-bass bleed, although I'd say it's slightly on the warm side, but then again, it's a turntable, so that's something to be expected. But it's not much. It's not too warm. It's just a hint of warmness. Mid-range. Vocals are very smooth and very natural, if not super detailed. They are a pleasure to listen. There is no sharpness, no sibilance whatsoever. A hint of warmth, again, yes, but not in a blanket on your speakers style. So I suppose it's not a discovery of this millennium, but I suppose that it will go very well with tube preamplifiers. The treble has very good extension. It's another thing that I had not expected. It's very clean and airy. It's smooth, and as far as I know, it sounds silly to say that, but I would call the treble sweet. I know it doesn't make sense. It's not a taste, it's a sound, but the treble here sounds sweet, especially on string instruments. The detail, let's be honest, it's not a detail king. It's entry-level turntable, but then again, vinyl is not about the detail, right? So on the other hand, you will not know that you are missing anything if you're not used to listening to digital versions of the same recordings. It's more about musicality than analytical presentation. And I like that because unless I started to look for specific things in specific songs, I wasn't missing them. But then again, the things that I couldn't hear were small, minuscule details that I pay attention to in order to assess the detail. And sometimes in my other reviews, I give you example for a specific song and specific passage when you can hear or you cannot hear something. The next part of the review, as usual, is soundstage and imaging. Again, surprisingly good center image and very wide soundstage. Very natural positioning of instruments. All of them have full bodies and the layering is very good. You can hear where something is playing in the back or in the front. It's not razor sharp precise, meaning that the sounds are neither points in space, which is very good, but then again, the images of the instruments are not very cleanly separated from the background. But it's fine. You still get wide soundstage, you still get good layering, and you still get full-bodied instruments. So you'll have no problem with pointing specific positions for all instruments. Now, the interesting thing here is that, again, as long as it has internal Bluetooth receiver, I wasn't expecting much from this Bluetooth. I was thinking about that as something that's added in price. But, again, as it was with speakers, I felt compelled to check the quality, and again, that was a very nice surprise. The Bluetooth is another surprise because it's open, it's transparent, it's airy, and it has very precise bass. I expected something added as an afterthought, just to tick the box on the feature list. But honestly, I wish all the dedicated Bluetooth receivers I had used in recent years had this sound quality. And again, the turntable retained that sound quality also with external amplifier when I was connecting this turntable to preamplifier and then to power amplifier. By the way, the details for my test setup, and I should say that at the beginning, are in the description of the video. The whole system setup that I was using during these tests is described here, and believe me, everything in my test setup was more expensive than this turntable, including cables, and this turntable didn't ashamed itself, and that's big thumbs up. What else can I say about the Bluetooth? Sorry, not about the Bluetooth, but the speakers, because I forgot to mention one thing. The speakers do not distort even with higher volume levels, and that was another surprise, because with most of the small speakers and with most of the small powered amplifiers, when you turn the volume up, the distortion rises, THD rises, and this results in a very unpleasant sound signature that makes you want to lower the volume. Not in this case, although obviously you will not go very, very loud, because these are small 18 watts as specified speakers, so you will not get them to disco level volume. But they do not distort. They are quite nice. Now, moving on to the summary, I think you may already guess that I like that turntable, and that's actually something very good for me too, because my entry, my foray into turntable area turned out to be rather good. I will be able to use that turntable for testing external phono stages. I will be able to play with other cartridges. In fact, I've already ordered another one just to check the sound signature change. Another one that's also recommended in forums. Also Audio-Technica AT91L, as far as I remember. Yeah, so the first thing, negatives. I'd love to see a subwoofer output, or maybe I would love to see RCAs that would change the volume level output along with using volume pot here, because at the moment RCAs will give you a stable RCA line out level and they will not use your volume settings, which is okay in a way when you're using preamplifier, but then again, unless you have a subwoofer with high level inputs, you won't be able to easily connect subwoofer here, and the small speakers will require some kind of subwoofer. Now, positives. The all-in-one system is a lot of surprises, positive surprises. I got it for the turntable alone because of literal thousands of good opinions. I wasn't paying any attention to the speakers or Bluetooth capability, but they were both very positive surprises. Bluetooth sound quality means that the internal amp is not a bottleneck in this mini system, and that's very good. Why it's good? Because if you feel the need to invest more just to play with different cartridges, the amp inside will not be your bottleneck, and you'll be able to hear the differences with more expensive cartridges. Okay. What else? What else can I say here? I got it as an entry-level turntable to see if that's something, the vinyls, that I will get into, and it exceeded my expectations. I have already bought another popular recommended Audio-Technica cartridge, as I said, AT91. I also got small stabilizer here, it's on the way. I also got cleaning kit, I also got mirrored angle calibration tool, and some other smaller accessories. I think it's fun. It fulfilled all my expectations. So all in all, I would recommend this as an excellent entry level, with really good Bluetooth, with really good amplifier, with good sound quality, and speakers that I wish could be sold separately, and speakers with quality that I wish would be for all accompanied speakers accompanying mini systems. So, as most of the reviews for the stock cartridge say, it's fun. It has really nice, maybe slightly V-shaped sound signature. It's a pleasure to listen. You won't be focusing on the details, you'll be focusing on the musicality, and you'll be just having fun from enjoying your music collection. So again, test setup. In the test setup description, in the video description, store links this time for Amazon in the description too. And if this review helped you to decide on buying this turntable or not, you're more than welcome to support my channel by buying me a beer using super thanks. That's also under the video somewhere here in the web browser. One more thing, one more notice. I've checked the sound quality in both switch positions, meaning I've checked that for RCA lineouts and for phono level lineouts. And bypassing internal amp for the RCAs had resulted in significantly more detail and transparency. Overall, it gave me better sound quality, and that's very positive because it means that if you have an external phono stage, like one of the cloned ones that are offered on AliExpress, you can squeeze even more detail and transparency from this turntable and from this cartridge. So in time, you can grow your system. For me, it ticks all the boxes. It's an entry-level system. I can modify that. I can play with that. I can build on that. And when I'll outgrow this turntable, I'll be able to move to something else. But for now, for the price, it's an excellent choice. And I don't think I'm missing anything choosing this turntable by Angels Horn over similar offerings from Audio-Technica. I think that's the best recommendation. Have a nice day. Bye, guys.